What's up, everybody? Real with Omar episode, I don't even know. Super special guest today. Before I introduce him, I want to say that I passed the test. This is based upon things that I've seen him say in other podcasts about sound quality and visual. I'm happy that he's blessed us with his presence. My man, Dren Starr. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Dren's energy might be a little off today because he was out activating last night.
Yeah.
And I totally respect him showing up because you could have been like, yo, I'm working all night. So tell me about last night's activation. What did we do?
Last night was crazy, man. So you know, I don't know when this is gonna air, but it was Cinco de Mayo. The Knicks were playing, and then we had the Met Gala.
Right.
So all these activations going on at the same time. You know, we do say we had 5 activations, 5 different spots.
And you're in charge of all that.
Running the city.
So you got to make sure everything the way it's going.
Make sure everything's, you know what I'm saying?
Looks the way it's supposed to look,
Exactly.
place where it's supposed to be placed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was one of them nights, bro.
Which was the easiest one to manage yesterday? I'm thinking the Met Gala because those are kind of reserved. Those people.
Yeah, we did Ludlow House.
Okay.
You know, Ludlow House is a dope spot downtown on the Lower East Side. Obviously, my home base.
Right.
So
Your backyard.
You know, exactly. I was there. You know what I'm saying? It was 3 floors. It was crazy.
Is that a membership?
Yeah.
Spot. Yeah, that's the new thing, bro. I asked you that question, right?
Yeah.
I asked you if you guys have something like that going on.
It's part of Soho House.
Yeah. That's the new move, man. Everybody's doing these membership things, private clubs and stuff like that.
Dope vibe, intimate.
Yeah.
You know, invite only.
And 4040 is gonna come back out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you can talk about or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because they still working you know, the spot where it's gonna be, you know, things like that. So
Okay.
when it comes out, it comes out. But we're doing a 4040 pop-up. We did one last year at the Jacob Javits Center for the Fanatics Fest.
Right, I saw it was interact. Everybody showed up.
Yeah.
Right. So Fanatic, he's an investor in Fanatics also.
Yeah,
Right.
Him and Michael Rubin are partners now.
Okay, so everybody got to show up. Everybody got to pull up. So when's the next one dropping?
That's I believe next month, June.
Okay. All right. Maybe hit me up. Let me know. I'll go.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's start with you. You have a very eclectic past, and I want to give it the respect it deserves. So you started a radio station at 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How did you know how to start a radio station at 18 years old?
It was
You were DJing before that. So you were in the nightlife, right? You were in the nightlife.
I was DJing. You know, I started DJing in junior high school.
Right.
You know.
Can we give us a year?
Damn.
All right.
So I would say 90.
Okay. So kids at home, just so you understand. Back in the day, DJs were the shit because you go to a place called a club and you used to wait online, pay money to get in, have to grease the bouncer to get in and hang out and be around a lot of people before COVID. I know it's a very strange concept right now, but it's starting to come back. That's why I mentioned the membership club. I see the trend coming. So you were DJing.
Yeah, so I was DJing, like, you know, I started in the 90s era, and a friend of mine was doing house music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, house was still in.
Yeah. Techno house.
Yeah.
It's for the kids. I want the kids to know what that.
Freestyle.
Yeah. Oh, freestyle was heavy with Latino.
So, you know, he invited me on to the show, and he was like, yo, Dren, I'm doing this. And I'm like, yo, bro, house music is not it.
Right.
I told him straight up.
So you weren't in the culture there?
Nah.
You weren't. You could appreciate it, but you wasn't.
Yeah, I was like, nah. Like, you know, I
listened
listened to it.
Right.
And this is like drawing the fate, like when it was phasing out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I said, bro, house is not it. Like, if you want me to join the team, I'm gonna do hip hop. You know, he was like, oh, but I said, bro, listen, I'm telling you, like, this
was coming.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we did it. It was 91.9 FM, WBAD radio. And you know, once I started doing hip hop, I was now for the terms like viral, like it went viral then.
Back then.
Before viral was even a word.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna go back and forth. We're going back and forth. We're gonna go back in time and forward in time, which I love. I love having people from my generation and it's still relevant, because that's a big thing now, right? Like most of the time, you're like, oh, he's out of it. No. We if we started it, we'll finish it, right? I'm going back to hip hop right now.
Yeah.
So we started it, bro. Like it came from us, our generation. So we're still here. All right. So then you're on the actual radio station.
Yeah. So you know we did radio. It was a direct competitor to Hot 97 at the time, because
which was 98.7 Kiss back then.
I'm
bugging out.
Hot 97 was 97.1. It was Power 105 wasn't out yet.
Pound FM.
So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what you whatever. But so at the time, I mean, it's nothing new. Like payola is a big thing.
Okay. Can you describe what that is? Just so people understand.
So payola is when artists paid the radio station and DJs to play records,
Right.
which is illegal. But you got to do what you got to do. It happened.
Right. It happened. It's a break a record.
Part of the, now they switch it up with advertisements and giveaways. And, every time you call a radio station, Caller 97 wins
$1,000. Yeah.
That $1,000 is coming from the payola.
Somebody's record. Right. Somebody's record. Yeah.
Somebody dropped the bag and that's how you getting that. And, so
I'm getting educated right now. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the whole concept comes from.
Okay.
So at the time they was doing an investigation on Hot 97.
Okay.
About what it takes to break a record. You know what I'm saying? And there was a few people that went on camera and said they did this, they did that, they bought jewelry, they bought cars for
Really? All right. So they were snitching. They were snitching. Okay.
Yeah. And my name came up because they was like, yo, there's this dude that's playing our records on the radio out of love.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And
so you were mentioning a good light.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when she called the station, I'll never forget it, man, because we used to take live callers and things like that. And it was Barbara Never Center from the I-Team, Channel 9.
Okay, hold on. So you're on your pirate radio station already. Or so like just to give you you're not at a legit spot. You have your spot illegal. That you ran out your house.
Right out of my crib.
Right out of your crib. Okay.
Straight illegal, but nobody knew that the station was illegal. They didn't know it was a pirate radio station.
They thought it was legit.
It's legit.
Yeah.
How do you?
Because you on the airwaves.
You on the airwaves. You in your car. You got the radio on. You don't think this shit is illegal.
So how do you and I'm sorry if I asked a lot of questions.
That's cool.
So you already plugged in with like the industry people, so you knew how to get paid having a radio station, right? Because that's a big thing.
Yeah, has sponsors and all of that.
All right, so that's big because most people I do it for the love, but you gotta make a living too.
Yeah.
So all right, so you already got the business part done.
Yeah, one of my first sponsors was Sprite.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? A corporate, a major
entrepreneurship.
Sprite.
Yeah,
corporate. You know what I'm saying? So when they didn't even know it was illegal. They just knew
you were just ahead of the time.
Yeah. Yo, he's on the radio, it's popping, like we listening to it, like he's tapped in. I
want our listeners to listen.
I had sweepers, I had drops. Drops is, when artists were like, yo, like Pun, for instance, yo, this is Big Pun, chilling with Dren Starr 91.9. So like when you hear all of these things, the way I ran it,
you were legitimate.
You never, and the million years knew
it was a pirate
that station. It was a pirate illegal station. Okay. The way you did know is that we used to play all the dirty versions.
Okay, so if you knew,
like now on radio, you never hear the dirty versions,
right? Censored.
And then when Cash used to call the station, like that was a big thing back then.
It was different
because remember there was no social media back then,
right?
So radio was social media.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you got dudes from the barbershops, dudes on the corner payphones, putting quarters, calling in, freestyling, and people used to just love to curse, bro. Like they just, I don't know what it was. But they used to just love hear themselves cursing on the radio. Yeah. It was weird, but it was a vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a vibe. So yeah, it was a dope time, bro.
Okay. So you have the pirate radio station. How long does that go for until you get shut down?
We did it. I would say we did it for about maybe a good 2 or 3 years.
Oh, you had a run. Okay.
Yeah, I had a nice little run.
Okay.
Once I learned the whole ins and outs of it, I started my own thing.
All by yourself?
Yeah.
Right, you learning by yourself?
Yeah.
You have a mentor that says, yo, this is what you should do? Nothing?
Nah.
Okay.
I started my own thing, you know what I'm saying? And because the dude, like I said, he was doing house music and he was really like trying to control it a lot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And even when I was doing it with him, it was pre-recorded.
Okay,
so we had these DAT tapes. Like DAT tapes are like these little digital tapes where they hold about 4 hours of music. I mean, now everything is digital hard drives and stuff, but again, this is before all of that.
Do you remember back in the day when you would record the tape, you put it on for the whole night?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we got new music.
I used to do that. With Stretch and Barbito on 89.9.
Just to go to the difference in resources right now, right? Yeah. Last week I had a conversation with somebody. We were talking about going to the library, how we used to have to go look for books. Now everything's on, you go on your phone.
Bro, 2 seconds, everything.
There you go. So we just say we just different.
Yeah.
So I remember that you want to hear a new song, but 15, 16, I'll be asleep by 2 o'clock. You put it on to record overnight and you catch it.
Yeah.
You catch it. All right.
That was the wave, man.
So then the radio station's over, you open up a studio.
Yeah. So we got raided. The FCC came because I did the Channel 9 thing.
All right, so I'm sorry, I stopped your story.
Yeah.
She calls in.
So she calls in and she was like, Dren, this is Barbara Never Center. I'm doing I'm doing a piece on UPNI News, and a lot of people gave your name up, and I'm tuned in. Like, what you're doing is amazing. And I'm like, oh, because I'm a news junkie. I watch the news. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I already knew how she gave it up.
Right.
The I team is the I team, bro. When they come in, they not praising nothing. They shut you down. Yeah, but the way she did it,
it's like the death knock, right?
Yeah. She did it in a good taste, though.
Okay.
She did it in good taste. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't like you like running down on me or like, oh, they illegal. No, she was like, yo, like this kid is young. He's doing it for the hip hop culture. He's shining light on independent artists. It was in good taste, but then she had to throw her little twist at the end of it. Yeah, correct. So with the FCC and the planes, the signal interfering with aircrafts and shit like that. Listen, it was like a 5-minute piece, and like she shit on us for like 5 seconds.
Okay, so that's not bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all because when the I team hits you, the whole piece is to just knock you up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So she showed love, and after that, we got shut down. Like because before they aired it, they kept playing these like 30-second teasers for like a week before they aired the piece.
Oh, okay. So you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Plus, it was illegal, so we knew we couldn't run with it anyway. So I'm like, I'm gonna go with a bang. Go with a bang. You know what I'm saying? So I went out with a bang, and then once we got shut down, I opened up the studio. That's why I named it Pirate Recordings.
Okay. So I took a book. Again, now the second question for you. You know you're a sound engineer? Yeah. You know how to mix, you know how to do all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that's your thing. So you were having artists come and you were making beats and stuff like that?
Yeah.
All right, just to give people the context of what you have as because even studios now, that's different. No. Right? Everything is different. Before people used to go somewhere and hang out, like Hov and them was baseline. Right. It was like their clubhouse. They were always there because it's the only place you could do that. Exactly. Now you can do this on your phone, you go into a little room.
Crazy, yeah.
Right. So all right, so you gave people a centralized, like, who are some of the biggest artists you work with?
Damn, I worked with everybody, man. Again, I used to tour manage Ghostface Killer, so he was like, Wu-Tang back then, they were the shit.
Yeah, Wu-Tang forever.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I was a fan always.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was a fan. So to be able to go from a fan to actually
to work with them,
to tour manage and role manage him was like an epic, iconic moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know absolutely. But yeah, I've worked with everybody, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had Daz Effects in my crib.
They want effects. Come on, man. You taking me down memory lane right now. Come on, man. All right, so Pun, one of the greatest, if not the greatest Latino artist or rapper ever. We can leave that out there. It's not like I'm not trying to start a debate on that. You did his last interview, right? Yes. And that was you just kind of, did you guys grow up together or had that?
No, we didn't grow up together. My man Uncle B, Nelson, rest in peace. He was a Lower East Side Bronx legend.
Okay.
He was a street dude.
Okay.
And he was investing in them heavy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was like I said, he was in the streets, and when they first came out, they were called Full Eclipse.
Right. And he was Moondog.
Yeah, he was
right.
He was Big Moondog before he was Pun.
I'm a hip hop fan, guys. I'm a hip hop. If I'm not showing it already, I'm not. This ain't just for fun. This is my life too. That I grew up with.
Yeah, so he used to bring them down to the Lower East Side, Pun, Joe, and they used to just chill on the block, bro.
Yeah,
like really just chill on the block.
To be there, yeah.
And then, but he was always in the music thing. You know what I'm saying? And I was young back then. He was a couple of years older than me. He was an OG.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, Dren, let's do this thing, man. I see what you're doing. So, he was my partner. He invested in the studio.
Okay.
So he helped me open up the studio.
All right. I'm sorry, I do this a lot. No, yeah. Just so you guys understand, back from where we came from, usually we didn't have a lot of financial means, right? And an OG from the street, it didn't matter where he got his money from. He was trying to do the right thing with somebody, right? He wasn't telling them, come run the street for me. Because that's a whole other topic where people would victimize our young youth because you get a young kid, you tell him to do this, he doesn't know any better. He's actually trying to put you on. So I'm just trying to give light to that because everybody thinks they know how it really works. Yeah. And it's a lot of his decisions and a lot of people who you link up with, right? So this guy was actually trying to put you on.
He was a good dude, man.
Right.
He just had a big heart, man. Mm-hmm. He was for the culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he got his street money, but he invested it in us.
Right.
He saw the potential in Pun and he saw the potential in me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Pun was an artist. I was more on the management, engineer side of it.
Okay.
So he just connected all the dots and
he could see it.
Yeah.
He could see
sure.
it. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So then Pun's interview, I mean, obviously he what people don't understand, and I'm not trying to stay stuck on it, but he was a big impacted my life too. Like, during those years, I was like my 25. I was hanging out, and that was what do you call it? Your soundtrack, right? You were out in the summer.
It was a golden
100%, right? 100% dropped. Everybody's on the streets, right? And it wasn't like now where everybody can kind of see each other here. Yeah. You had to go see each other.
You had to really know.
You had to go like
one-on-one. Yeah.
You had to go down to the village and just drive around West 4th Street and down Broadway in your car, like that was what hanging out was, right? And now it's very different. So I want to give it context. I want people to understand the type of life that was, because even when I talk to my own kids, right? They think a lot of shit I say is made up. I'm like, no, it's not made up. Like, oh, no, it's a movie, Dad. I was like, no, that was real life.
Real.
That was real life. Now you don't understand that, like, because this is your real life. And when you have kids, they'll have their real life and they'll look at you like you're crazy. I was like, but this is the way it was. Like, I was like, if you met a girl, it wasn't online, you'd have to walk up to them.
Talk to her.
Yeah, you have to walk up to them.
I think it's you had to be on your A game
and get embarrassed, or not. But and you have to just wipe yourself clean and keep going. Like, it wasn't like now. Oh my God, everybody's so scared of everything because it's so sensitive. Before we had to honor up and go get it. Be like, hey,
that's for sure.
You want to speak to me? No, okay, fair. Fair. Keep pushing. Anyway, I don't know how I got there. So, pun. Last interview, then I know you got into some stuff. I don't know if you want to elaborate on it.
No, we could talk. Bro.
You did 5 years for gun possession, right? You beat the case once, right? And then it was a hung jury.
Yeah.
Then he just retried you.
Yep.
Right. And the second time it didn't go your way. Let me ask you this question, because I've listened to different people. Like, even when Joe got into his tax thing, he had people like reach out, yo, this is what you should prepare for. Did you have somebody that was in your corner, like giving you some sort of, going back to my story off camera, somebody supporting you, just letting you know, yo, it's going to be fine. This is what's probably going to happen. Just, hold your head, stay in contact. Did you have any of that, or did everybody just turn around?
Nah,
well, that's the conversation, right?
It was real, bro. Like, I wasn't ready for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was.
How old were you, if you don't mind?
I was, damn, I'm horrible with this. I was probably, when I caught my case, I was maybe 30, like 32 around there probably.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then, again, like, I didn't know what I was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the courtroom, my life is changing. I didn't know shit about law.
You understand the ramifications of what was happening, right?
Serious.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand it now. They think you can just walk around with guns and shit and it's going to be a slap on the wrist. Nah, bro. Like, this is real. Like, a lot of, and it's messed up, but it's part of the culture, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Back then, it was like a book bag. You put your book bag on, you go to school, like, you put your gun, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, looking at it now, it's like, for what? It's a lose-lose, bro. Because if you let it ring off, you ain't getting
That's murder, right?
You get caught with it, you ain't getting off. So it's like you just walking around.
Or if the other guy has a gun too and kills you, you ain't getting off. So
it's a
what's your option? Yeah, what's your option?
Lose. Yeah. But you don't notice until you get caught up. You know what I'm saying? So I got caught up in the shit. You know what I'm saying? Again, I was in studios, there was beefs going on. I wasn't running around with it for no reason, but it was just, it was part of the toolkit back then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just something that you had to have on you because of the way hip hop was back then.
You think the culture, and I find like, so there's the culture, right? And I pride myself on always being real, right? But then there's also the financial component, right? Like, I think a lot of people don't understand, especially when we were coming up, because hip hop, I was talking to Mike Rodriguez, and I was talking to him about like, now influencers, that's kind of like hip hop was, right? There was a lot of flash, but there wasn't a lot of money for the people yet, right?
Yeah.
So we're there living with street rules, but the truth of the matter, in that industry, there's so much money that that's not the way it should have been. Like, if the record companies really cared, there'd be security downstairs. Armed security, yo guys, this is what we making money. We not doing all this.
And I try to get legit. I try to get my gun license.
Right.
I try to get my gun permit. But New York State is the toughest state in America to get your pistol license.
Right.
Like, and now it's easier because they finally got it right. It took them almost 40 years to get it right. But back then, if you wasn't the police or like you wasn't a check cash,
right, deal heavy cash,
they didn't care what business you had. They didn't care how much money you had in the bank. They didn't care about nothing, bro.
It didn't matter.
You know what I'm saying? So, I try to go about it the right way, but they just wasn't jacking it.
Well, why, if you don't mind me asking, why were you carrying? You got into something, somebody robbed you?
I got robbed once.
Okay.
I got robbed once.
Probably at gunpoint?
at gunpoint.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Leaving the studio at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I got pistol whipped. I got staples in my head. Like, it was real back then.
Right.
It was a real thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, rappers were being targeted. They still getting targeted to this day. You know what I'm saying? So I just had it for my protection.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But again, with New York, they don't play that, bro. You can't walk, you just can't run around like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tell people it's weird because all you need is a license for it. It's the same thing like a car.
Right.
But when you get caught driving a car without a license, they don't give you 7 years. They don't give you 15 years.
Right.
You could kill more people with a car than you can with a gun, bro.
No, facts.
Real talk.
Facts. Yeah.
A gun only got a certain amount of bullets.
Right. A car, you
You
take
could
the whole
take a
block.
car, bro, you could take 3 blocks out.
Right.
And you get caught driving a car with a lighter, you got a ticket, you got a slap on the wrist. So what's the
How does that make
deal?
sense? Right.
You know, I always say it like, guns don't kill people, people do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like, why are they so harsh on it is weird because my theory now is like, if everybody had a hammer on them, everybody would act right.
Texas.
See what I'm
Texas.
saying?
You can carry in Texas. All day.
Everybody, niggas know, like, you act right.
Everybody
got it.
Yeah, everybody. Right. We're all equal here.
Yeah, so just relax.
Yeah.
Everything will be copacetic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But New York is New York, man.
I mean, hip hop is I have a love. I love. I don't want to say hate. I have a love and a little bit of dissatisfaction with hip hop because hip hop is beautiful to me, right? To me, it represents, and you chime in if you think I'm right or wrong, right? To me, it represents what we had to do to kind of find a way to make money, to get out of there, to get out of whatever we were doing. Selling drugs, robbing. There was a lot of crazy shit happening in the 90s, right? And to me, that's what it represented. If you remember, all the albums were about getting out or doing this, or they were talking about what they used to do, and they want, like, this was the way to legitimize themselves, right? It was the way out. Now, I don't even know what hip hop is. What the new had to do it?
I can't.
I don't know what it is.
You know, it's a new.
That's why I brought you on the show to explain it to me.
No, it's weird, bro. I'm not with the new shit either.
Okay.
It's just weird. It's a weird.
So not just me.
And you know, I think about it now, like, you know, our parents, like back then when why you listening to that garbage? And now I'm like, it's the same thing.
Why is it that garbage?
They were saying like, why this is trash.
Yeah, I don't
It's not
understand.
the same. What's going on? You know what I'm saying this mumble rap and this drill shit was, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird time, man. But I think it's coming back around little by little. Like I'm watching, you know, I don't even watch TV now, bro. Like I just watch straight YouTube.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't watch TV at all. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, you see things on YouTube and like the culture's changing. You have a lot of pods like this.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is like the new wave, but I think the sound of hip hop is starting to come back to where I don't think it's gonna come all the way back, but I hear it coming back a little bit. Right?
Well, listen, you dialed in. You rocking with Roc Nation. He see everything. Everybody's pitching them all the time.
Sure.
I was at a Nets game was it 2 years ago? I'm sitting there. I used to have floor tickets to the Nets, but I'm a Knicks fan now.
Okay.
It doesn't apply. So Hove is across with OG1 and Babyface Ray is next to him. I knew who that is.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. So I'm like, I look at him, and I'm there with my boy, and we're drinking a little bit, and we're happy. And I'm like, yo, what do you do? Right? Because I don't want to say, you know, are you a rapper? Because I try not to perpetuate stereotypes.
Gotcha.
Like, what do you do? Entertainment. He's like, well, I'm he has like a southern thing. I'm a rapper. I'm pretty good. And you know, I'm detached from that right now. Well, he wanted to talk to Hove too. He was like, yo, tell Jay I want to talk to him. And Jay had to go somewhere, so he was like, you know, this is all because we're on the floor, so he sent security guys and all that. But it just goes to show you, like, that's how detached I am from hip hop now. Like, there's the 90s and early 2000s that I can recognize everybody, right?
Yeah.
But now I could be sitting next to a kid, and my son, I put on a story. My son, yo, that's this guy. He's on my favorites. I'm like, okay. And my son's 30. So I was like, oh, shit. Get a picture of that. I'm like, I already got one. He's like, oh, all right. Like, he was really excited. And that kind of infects you. Like, oh, I should be excited, right? Mm-hmm. But it's hard, right? Because you can't relate.
No, we come from different eras.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, you know, I met a few artists, you know, back in the days, and I didn't know who they were. Mm-hmm. You know, and they take it like a little disrespect, but bro, I'm old. Like, I don't know you, bro.
Yeah,
so I tell him, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna hit my son up. If my son know who you are, then
okay,
not for nothing, you relevant. Because my son, you know, again, you know what I'm saying?
How old is he?
He's 30.
Okay, yeah,
you know
same thing.
So, you know, I'm like, if my son knows who you are, you know, my other son is 21. They're like, yeah, dad, nah, he's
legit.
And I tell you a funny story. I did an activation in Club Harbor.
Okay.
Right? and we're going over. They're trying to pick somebody for New Year's. So I'm on a conference call, like, you know, they
Pick a rapper?
yeah,
Okay. To do the show.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Again,
Okay.
see-
Just making sure.
You see what you said, right? You
Yeah.
said rapper, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we're thinking about Kai Cenat, and I'm like,
The YouTuber?
yeah.
He's just an entertainer. Like,
Thank you.
He's just the dumb shit. Yeah. No offense. No offense. Like, if he sees this.
I mean, he's
He's killing it.
he's up,
But he's not a rapper.
right. But that's my point.
Right. He's not an
It's
entertainer.
New Year's Eve.
Right.
It's New Year's Eve. It's New York City. It's always a big celebrity. Like, I'm like, who?
A headliner. Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, who? You know.
You said, did you mean Kanye West?
So, and my son is sitting over there. He's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Really?
I'm like, he's like, Dad, you don't know who Kai Cenat is? I'm like, bro, I don't care who he is. It's New Year's Eve.
I feel like this is the Angry Homeboy podcast.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't care who he is, bro. Like, so, you know, after the conference call was over, you know, he shows me who he is. He goes, you know, he just did something in the Union Square where, like,
Well, he got ticketed or arrested for that?
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
He bought a mob, right?
mob.
Yeah.
They were like thousands.
Yeah,
like,
illegal. It was illegal something.
he
Like,
was giving away Xboxes or
yeah,
something.
yeah. I remember
You
that.
know, so these influencers, that's what they are called now. They're influencers
All right.
now. So the influencers are bigger than artists and rappers and singers now. It's just, this is the
It is. I understand what you're saying with that, but the thing is, going back to what you were saying, they're asking you for a very specific thing. They want somebody to entertain a crowd
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time. You can't
So I'm
make
like,
jokes.
What
you
are
know
you
what I mean?
gonna do? Like,
You can throw Xboxes at people
yeah, you have him coming to the club, and then you're gonna have 20,000 kids
outside.
outside
Like, can't be in the club.
that can't be. He don't sing, he don't rap. So what's the point?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Unless you're doing a teenage club, you know. I'm not. Yeah. If that's what you're doing, that's another thing.
You know, the kid don't rap, the kid don't sing. He just shows up. He's an influencer. He does these lives,
There's
live streams.
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody pull up to his house.
he's in the crib for 24 hours, and you know, people pull up to his crib and they just shoot the shit, and he gets paid millions of dollars, bro. Millions of dollars, bro. He never put out an album. He never did a show.
Yeah.
He just puts his camera on, and he's
talk
sitting
shit.
in his crib and just talk shit.
Talk shit all day.
And he gets, bro. He's a multi-millionaire, bro.
How do you? I mean, you don't have to name it, and you don't like. This is us just chopping. Do you have any like artists that feel certain ways about things like that? Like, you know, I'm sure they have to, right? They have to
because they you know, they food is getting eaten right now, bro.
Mm.
Because like I said, you have a Kai Cenat, and then you got somebody like I don't know, whoever. But like, it's not
It's not the same.
it's not adding up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we come from the era where we listen to music, we enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? It brings us back to a time.
We support talent,
yeah,
right? We support absolutely. I'm with
thank
you. We support talent. There's an exchange here. Like, we're being entertained. We support you financially. What's that happen? But I don't know. I think social media kind of warped
It did.
the whole thing, right?
did.
I think Gary says that you're a celebrity for 15 people. Like, everybody on social media is a celebrity to like 15 people.
Yeah.
They know what you're doing all the time,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And as you grow, you get more followers. But I put something up yesterday because I've had a lot of guys hit me up for the podcast, and you know, I believe in, like, and again, thank you for being on the show. Building community. Right? Like, so I could be of service, I could be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, if there's something that I think is up your lane, I text, yo, I think this is a good thing. Maybe, right? Like, but that's what it's supposed to be about.
Exactly, yeah.
To grow.
Yeah, you gotta tap
Where,
in.
where people don't kind of understand that is they feel like, yo, I just want to be on there. Like, so I have a certain amount of followers, right? But I only talk about, if I'm not talking about real estate, I'm talking about development. That's my thing, right? I want us to develop. We've had a conversation off camera. Like, I believe as a culture, we need people to support each other, to support us. Like, we got to tell each other, yeah, we good here, right? Or, we good here. Like, I don't think there's enough of that yet. I mean, there's a lot of.
It's not, and it should have happened. It should have happened a long time ago because, you know, obviously we all went to school, and you know, I'm born and raised in the Lower East Side, and I'm saying that to say that back then, these buildings, bro, like an entire building on the Lower East Side was going for like 20 bands.
Bro,
They were all crack houses.
what about the dollar townhouse in Harlem? What about that? Yeah.
Same. So it's like, but
we didn't know anything.
they don't teach you this shit in school, bro.
Absolutely.
They teach you the bullshit.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So like, if we would have knew what we know now back then, bro, we would have all been up. You know what I'm saying? So like, I look at these cribs now because I'm still down there, and I'm like, bro, they go for millions of dollars, bro.
Yes.
The same exact buildings.
Yes.
Nothing's changed.
And you watched it. You were there.
I've seen it flip 20 times, bro.
Mm-hmm. And how many times you've seen it where the like an African American family or a Latino family has it, they don't know what they have, or they lose it because they don't have financial literacy.
Exactly.
That's what I'm always preaching. That's what, because there's a way. There's a way. Like,
I'm like, they teach us all this nonsense in school. If they would have just taught us about real estate, and they would, even the whole crypto thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was huge for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I did my time, I'm like, damn.
So what years was that? I know you're bad at that, but you missed, what part did you miss? The whole social media proliferation?
I was gone from 2010 and I came back in 2016.
Okay.
So that was that was like the social media boom. You know what I'm saying?
It was a few years.
Yeah. So when I was up north, like, they would send me Instagram and mail. Like, they would take screenshots and put it in an envelope and mail it to me to show me what it was. And I'm like, what is? I didn't understand the concept. I'm like, what do you mean pictures? Like, it's an app that people post pictures, and I'm like, what?
For what? Right.
Then now I see how important that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a vehicle for a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you use it right, you could go to the moon, bro.
Yeah. It's a way to communicate efficiently, right? I always talk about controlling your narrative, right? I'm really big on that because somebody else can't tell your story, right? And if somebody's not from where you're from, they definitely can't tell your story. They're gonna tell your story from their perspective.
Exactly.
And
crazy,
right? Because they're not the culture, right? They're not. It's like an Anglo telling my story, growing up, born in Puerto Rico, then Nelson Avenue, the Bronx. Like, oh, you're not gonna get it right, bro. Like, you don't know what it is to be robbed at gunpoint. You don't know what it is to play in the pump. You don't know what it is to cut your feet with the glass on the street, because that's what they were. Like, you don't know what that is. You could talk about it, but it's a different thing. It's
a different cloth.
Yeah, it's a different color. Like, it doesn't have the flavor. It doesn't have the flavor, and that's the part that's super important to me, because I started seeing the podcasts, like different people on podcasts, and I'm like, okay, cool. What I didn't see was, this is not being, like thinking anything. Everybody has their lane, right? So you have the hip hop podcast. I was like, that's cool. Then you have my man Joe Rogan. That's cool. I was like, but there's nobody talking about like financial literacy or Earn Your Leisure is doing a little move. They got a little wave going on. I was like, but no Spanish, no Latinos. We're not doing that. Like, why are we not talking about this? Why are we not talking about, like, we could talk about it in a way that's not boastful. We could talk about it in a way that you respect it, understand the concept, and maybe you put your shit together in your own space, in your life, and you can jump that hurdle, right? Because most of the time, I believe, if you can't see it, like, if you don't see it kind of like you can't believe you could be that, right? So I forgot where I was telling the story at, I think last week, where like 10 years ago, me and wifey used to go on vacation for our birthdays.
Okay.
Right? So then, you start making a little money and like, I'm going first class. Because I wanted to. I never did it when I was young, right? So I started flying first class. And in the beginning, it was cute when everybody used to be like, hey, what baseball team you play for? Like,
shit.
Oh, yeah, bro. I got stories today. I'm like, I don't play it. It was cute. But then I was like, why I gotta play for a baseball team?
Yeah, why?
Like, yeah, because I'm Spanish.
Yeah.
Right. So now you start, and I'm not jaded about it, but I understand. I'm like, yo, this is what they think. This is what most people think, right? You go to mid-America, bro, it's crazy. Pennsylvania, it's like you went to another time. Yeah. You go to certain towns, you're like,
sure, yeah.
What is this? The West Coast and the East Coast are more progressive, but the Mid-America, they don't know shit. They're like, they're like, you Mexican? I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican. Yeah. I was like, I'm actually American.
Tell them it's all the same shit.
No, but I'm actually American, and we're gonna go there. If that's the conversation.
Yeah.
But these are stories I tell from my journey, because I've lived it, and at the moment I didn't understand. I was like, damn, all right, that's funny, haha. And then later I was like, damn, it's not that funny, man, because why can't I just be a businessman? Because that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Yeah, I'm a businessman. That's what I do.
And then you got to explain that shit and all that. It's like,
right.
Because once they, like you said, they start the conversation, they set the tone already.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to check them, or I just go along with it. So I'm not even going to.
Yeah. And it's sad because some people you know, unconscious biases, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, they don't mean it. That's just what they grew up with.
all they know.
That's
what
what's
they see.
passed down from generation to generation.
They see, yeah.
Spanish people, that's what they do. Black people, that's what they do. Like,
Yeah.
it's taught, and it's tough. It's tough. Like, we breaking barriers here, right? Like, you're dealing with activations. You're breaking a product to people, right? You deal in very high-end areas, right? Usually people's net worth, if they're not on the come up, if they're already established, they're in the high seven figures. You're dealing with a different type of culture, different type of people, right?
Yeah.
But but you deal with somebody like me, I still come from where you came from. Like, and we don't forget that. It isn't like, I had a conversation one time. One guy got me a little tight. He's another owner of a bank. He hits me up, ha ha ha. He said this, and I hit him back hard. He was like, yo man, why you talking about something about your father and how you didn't have money growing up, but now you have these buildings? I was like, yo, but that's my story.
That's it.
No, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Because at that point in my life, I was already accepted as another owner. So they're like, yo, man, you must have come from something. No, I come from absolutely nothing. Yeah. My story is I was recruited into the banking system or the banking business in 2005 because somebody needed a brown face to go to the South Bronx to buy buildings.
Wow.
He was Jewish. I didn't know any better. I had a liquor store and a nightclub. I had a Candela on Castle Hill and a little liquor store, right? And he comes to meet me. He's like, look, I didn't know about real estate. I didn't know anything. So I'm like, my man put me up. My man knew him. He's like, yo, he's the owner of the bank. I told him about you. I told you make it happen. I was like, what am I supposed to make it happen? He's like, he's going to meet with you. He's going to tell you what he wants to do. I'm like, all right. He comes down to the Bronx, 159 3rd. I'm across the street from the 42 precinct. Pulls up in his X5 window. Those are the hottest things. Yeah. He told me, he said, listen, I want you to find me buildings here. I want to buy. I'm from the Bronx originally. I live in Long Island. I want to buy in the Bronx again. But these people are not going to talk to me, right? So I want you to find buildings at good prices for me, and I'm going to pay you a 6% commission. That's a real estate fee, real estate broker fee. I didn't know what that was. So I was like, okay. I was like, so I find the building, you like the building, you buy the building, I get paid 6% of the sales price. He goes, that's how it works. I was like, bet. So, again, I'm still kind of in the liquor store life and the nightlife. I thought that was it. I thought that I was doing it. Because that's what I thought. Like, that's all you saw, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm small business owner. To me, that I made it. So I found one. It was like 360. I buy it like 18. The check was like 18,000. I'm like, okay. Did another one. Another check was like, close to 30. So I go, and he owned the mortgage bank. So he would make me drive to Long Island and pick up my money. Because I didn't know all this was posturing. Like this is all posturing. This is all psychology in business. Yeah. Like, I'm sure you've dealt with this, but this is my first. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, right? I'm just going with it, right? I'm like, all right, so I'm supposed to go pick it up. All right, cool. So I go over there. I go in there, and he was like, come meet me at my bank. Your check is ready. Da-da-da. So I go there. I go in. A receptionist says, oh, he's in the back office. So I go in. I make a right. There's like this big pit with mad people on phones, right? On the phone, like Wall Street, like, like Wolf of Wall Street shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I remember looking to the right, and there was like a whiteboard with markers on it, and there was numbers. It was like, 75, 150, 180, 275, 360. Like, I remember those numbers. So I'm walking. I see his office. I go in. He does cleaning his shoes. That was his thing. He's eccentric. Anyway, so I go in there. He goes, here's your check. You've been really good. He goes, you need to think about what you want to do. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. So, he's putting me on. And to this day, I'm always grateful. I just want to say that because he showed me something that I didn't know about, right? I didn't know about it. So I was like, I didn't know it was a possibility. So he's like, yo, those guys out there, those are loan officers, right? I'm like, okay. And he was like, how much you make at a liquor store? And I was like, well, after everything, I think it was like 110, in cash. He was like, that's pretty good. He goes, those guys are making triple that a month. So my mind like, what? So he goes, those numbers you saw on the way in, those are people's numbers for the month. That's what they're taking home. And that changed everything for me. I was like,
You see,
what?
what?
I was
Word,
like,
yeah,
$275 a month? I was like, I've never met nobody who makes, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, bro. I was like, all right, I came back the next day. I hired somebody to run the store.
Fire. Okay.
And I did my
Yeah,
second tour of college. I went back and got re-educated. I learned it. But back in those days, right, we're in Long Island. So the Spanish guy was like a real Spanish guy. Like, and I don't mean that with any disrespect to my boys out there. But a Mexican, a Salvadorian, like real Spanish looking. His English was fucked up. His name was usually Carlos. It was just, it was very stereotypical.
The real Hicks.
So here I'm coming. I speak English and Spanish. I went to college, so I have an educated, vocabulary. So I fucked up the system. Like I came in, I started tearing it apart.
Yeah, and you street smart too. So
right.
Those are the dangerous ones, bro.
Right. Well, so I had all of that, but I just never knew this existed, right? So I was there for a couple of years, and then I kept evolving. Then I opened my own spot, and that happens, right? Like if you want it to happen, you can make it happen. We're still cool to this day. He's always trying to recruit me. He's always offering to buy the business. I'm sorry. I said, yeah, $5 million. Give me $5 million with a 5-year sign on, and I'll come over. He's like, come on. Oh, I'm like, no. I know what I told him, I know what I'm worth. I'm gonna make it anyway. So either we win it together, or I'm gonna make it on my own. Yeah. So it's a real cool feeling to still have that relationship with the guy who put you on. I mean, we had some adversarial shit with money, because that always happens, right? It always happens. When there's big money on the table, you're like, I'm like, wait a minute, what? That's not mine? He's like, no, just because of this. I'm like, that don't sound right. But anyway. Yeah, but again, it's like getting an education. You paying for an education. And that's what I find now with younger people now. They don't want to go through that. I'm not saying they should pay me. But you got to start something. I want to have mad followers too. I was like, well, you got to post every year, do this. I was like, but here's the question. You want to have mad followers for what? Right.
I say that to the kids all the time.
This is a real question, right? So I'm like, for what? Well, I want to do what you do. I was like, do you know what to do? Do you know how to structure a deal? Do you know what this is? Do you know, just not to get all fucking technical and boring, but do you know how? So what's going to happen is, I said, if you have mad followers, they're going to find out really fast that you suck. Marketing is dope, good way and bad way. Either you're going to find out you're really good and they're going to come, or they're going to find out you're really bad and they're going to let everybody know.
It's over, yeah.
So pick your poison. Pick your poison. So I tell all the young guys, like the kid you saw outside, I was like, yo, work on this, work on that. They come to me. I'm not actively recruiting anybody. They come to me for game, and I give them game. Yo,
that's dope, because a lot of people don't do that. They keep it to themselves because they're scared or they don't want to drop knowledge. And I do the same thing, bro. I give dudes game, and some people, it's the it factor. If you have it, you have it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you don't. Like you said, you could go to school and bro, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And look, a lot of people go to school and they waste money. They can't figure life out, bro.
I tell my son all the time, my youngest one, he's like, yo, why am I going to school, Dad? Because sometimes when he's in a good mood, he'll be like, I want to work with you. I want to learn. I want to do what you do. I was like, well, I can't dumb it. I told him this, it's kind of rough, but being a dad, to me, this is what being a father is. I can't dumb it down so much. I can't slow down so much, bro, that you don't know basic concepts. So go to school, get the basic concepts. So if I tell you this is what that means, you understand. I don't got to break it down, right? Like, so I'm trying to explain it to him. I was like, it doesn't guarantee you anything, but it makes you more well-equipped to deal, especially going back to my story, right? I didn't know this existed, right? But now I know. And now you can't tell me it doesn't exist. And I know the numbers, and I know it's an 8-9 figure like industry, and you're always going to need it. And nobody's telling me nothing different. So what if I didn't meet this guy? What if I wasn't educated? What if I didn't know when he sat to speak to me and he was like, hey, you're, the 6%, and I didn't want to do that math. What happens then?
It was stuck. You've been asked out.
You wouldn't, no, you miss it. I want all the opportunity. I was like, but if you're not ready for the opportunity, you're not building yourself, right? Like, you got to work on yourself more than you work on your business. Like, I tell that all the time. You got to work on, you got to be ready. It's like, if you tell me this, I'm going to take a huge leap of faith right here. Like, Roc Nation needs a Spanish education real estate guy. You met me. You can verify me. I'm educated. I can help. If I don't know shit, I'd be like, yo, man, all right. And I think it's a cool, goofy, take pictures with people thing. And it's not that. Right? But that's what most people think. It's just the taking pictures part. Bro, that's just, to share.
Yeah, that's it.
What are you doing behind the pictures?
And it lives right there. It stops right there.
Correct.
Yeah.
But listen, you come from the 90s. You did your stretch. And now you're dealing with this celebrity stuff. What would you tell people? Like, what is, besides like coming out, what was your low point? Did you have a low point? Did you like, yo, what the fuck is going on in my life? Everybody's mad far ahead.
Yeah, my low point was when I did my time, when I sat up.
While you were there, sitting still.
Sitting still, bro, like dormant. Like, you know, I tell people all the time, like when you in that cell, bro, and you in that, like, there's no opportunities for you, none. Mm-hmm. The world is moving, life is going on. There's birthdays. There's life is just life. You call on the phone every day. Right. People pass the phone off, and you just.
And it's not FaceTime. This is a public cell phone. Yeah. A public jail phone.
Yeah, you just hang up, and it's just like, and you're just parked. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, like, what was I doing? Like, how did I wind up in this position? You know what I'm saying? But it, you know, it's, you know, and I don't want to sound religious, but it's like, it was God's plan, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because,
slow you down?
To slow me down.
Right.
Because, you know, look at us. Like, we're here. You got you're successful. You got your platform. You got other businesses. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I got a second chance. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't. They don't get a chance. Yeah. I just had Pretty Lou on a podcast. And I tell people all the time, and I say it in a lot of my interviews, some people never go to prison and some people never get hospitalized. And when those two things don't happen to you, you never get like a wake-up call.
Yeah, you take for granted.
You never see who's really in your corner, all the things you did. You know, not that we do things for people to get shit back, but it's like you really see like, wow, like I'm, you know, we're in this entertainment industry, and we do so much for people, and we look out for people. But like when we're back. You know, when our back's against the wall.
Let's just say what it is. When we're fucked up, right? Who can you call?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sometimes you need, I needed that.
You need a wake-up call like to see?
Hell yeah, I needed it because, you know, I was wilding back then and, you know, I got a second chance. Some people don't get a second chance. You know, there's people our age that are not here on earth anymore.
Yes.
Straight up.
Absolutely.
You know, we come from the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We in the Bronx right now. Like, you know, this is the wild, wild west, bro.
Yep.
This is the wild, wild west out here. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to make it here and still pushing, and you know we're healthy and we're moving and grooving, it's a blessing, brother.
And we're trying to help. We're trying to kick game to people so they understand that, yo, I mean, if it's entertainment related music, you're the guy to ask questions about. If it's real estate, like I get questions all the time, and I stop. Even my sons work at this gym, Lifetime in Harrison. They just went up in their membership. I thought it was the funniest shit. I just got an email. Your membership is about to go up $50 a month, but we love you.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was. So I was like, damn.
Word.
But I'm not leaving because I love the fucking place.
Yeah.
But it is when you get to a certain level, you can deal with that. It's like when it's a financial, like, can I eat or go to the gym? Of course, obviously. Yeah. But you know, when you get to certain levels, you got to pick your poisons. You got to be like,
how you do?
And they're first world problems, right?
You know, it's good for us because like. Whoever's watching this, like we motivate people, man.
I hope so.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the goal.
We motivate people because I remember when I was away, like the CEOs and all right, y'all niggas ain't gonna be shit. You gonna come right back. You gonna do this shit. And they brainwash you, bro. But there's so many people that just keep going back. Yeah. Over and over. It's like a family reunion.
They become institutionalized, bro. They don't know any better. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And when you become like that, and then, you know, these CEOs, like that's their livelihood. So they see
perpetuate it. It's a business, bro.
Hell yeah. It's a huge business.
Listen, I'm not gonna go into this because I don't have my facts in front of me. There's only one payment system in the prison system, and they make a lot of fucking money. Oh. Yeah. So I don't even know the name, but I remember
pay. Yeah.
I remember reading about it.
Yeah. It's bro.
They charge a mad amount of money.
Crazy. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And when I came home, I was going to start a business, you know, to do with prisons, but then I wanted to stay away from it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a lesson in my life. I didn't want to, you know, be in that, oh, I'm going to start doing this. No, I just, you know what, it was a phase of my life.
Yeah, you want to get caught up in that life because it reminds you of a mistake you made. And
then, you know, there was, you know, certain organizations that wanted to hire me to travel around the world and speak to people. And I'm like, yo, you know what? it's a dope opportunity, but then I'm stuck in that.
Pigeonholed.
Yeah,
You're
and I
pigeonholed.
don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like talking to kids and things like that. Cool, you know, from the hood, from the block, from the neighborhood, but I try to stay away from that. But you know, it's part of my story, it's part of my life, and you know, it made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, damn, this is a dude that the time when the president came back and he just bounced up crazy. So you know, it gives me that, you know.
Well, without going into too much detail, like confidential shit, right? So you come out. So how do you land where you land? How did that happen? Relationships?
Relationship.
Okay.
I always kept great relationships.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that helped a lot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't burn any bridges. You know what I'm saying? When I came home, I knew that I didn't want to do the music thing anymore because that's what got me jammed up.
Right.
So, you know, that obviously left a bad taste, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, what can I do? Because this is my lane, but I can't.
It's a kind of like what I was telling you about hip hop. I love it. I kind of don't mess with it, right? Because you get caught up in it. Yeah.
You know, you get caught up in it, and I definitely got caught up in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it was, listen,
nothing to do with me.
I'm not giving you the golden pass. I am giving you grace where I'm saying you reacting to it. You had a fucking traumatic, no event, and I don't know if you don't like the word. You had a traumatic fucking event.
Yeah.
So basically you were just like, yo, this ain't gonna happen again.
Nah.
Whatever I gotta do, it ain't gonna happen again. And that was the result of that.
Yeah.
That was it.
You know, I move different. You know, I have a different circle. I have a whole different team. You know what I'm saying? You know, I have new associates. And, you know, that whole past, you know, there's dudes that I'm cool with, that I used to be cool with. They're like, oh, nigga, you think no, I'm not all that, bro. Bro, I changed. My life, I'm a whole different person, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like we said earlier, I'm telling my story.
There you go.
You don't gotta like it.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling your story. I'm telling my story.
Yeah, tell your story. Go ahead. Tell your story. Yeah.
Tell yours. There's millions of platforms. This is what I went through.
Right.
You can't. Why are you mad?
Well, because some people,
I know why you mad, but you should be mad.
some people are just mad because they're so unhappy.
Exactly.
As all they're doing is projecting, right?
And they're stuck.
Yeah.
A lot of people are stuck.
The unhappier you are, the easier it is to be stuck.
Exactly.
Right? The easier it is to be stuck.
So I see that.
Yeah.
So I get it. You know, and you know, I might come off arrogant. No, it's not arrogant. Again, this is my story, bro. Whether you like it or not, this is my story.
Right.
It is what it is. And you know, sorry for you that you're still stuck.
Who was the first person that called when you came out? Do you know?
Oh man, that's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that question.
Oh, real Omar, baby. No, listen. What people don't understand is that there's gonna be certain parts in our lives, right? I interviewed this other guy, Jay. He's a first responder, SWAT team guy. He said most people go through 4 traumatic experiences in their whole life. Us, probably by the time we're 10, we go through 4. So understand the baggage that we carry of coming up the way we come up. Whether it be, I'm not saying this to you and me, but you know, an abusive father, a drug addict mother. Like, there's a lot of shit that guys got to deal with this shit and figure out who the fuck they want to be, right? And those guys and girls that decide, yo, this ain't my life. You know how hard that shit is, man? Because this is all you've seen, right? Who do you go to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this goes back to the conversations I like to have.
Bro, yeah, it was, I mean, to answer, like, I don't even have the answer. Like, the first person to call me, damn, I don't.
Who's that? Yo, I know you're coming out soon, come see me. Like, did anybody give you, like, going back to my story I gave you off camera, like, my man's like, yo, I need you there. I had no idea why. Then at lunch, I understood why. He needed somebody to validate him. Yo, tell him, yo, it's good. We good. Like, you did it. You belong here. I got you.
I mean, I had a lot of, like, people come visit me and things like that. You know, we used to chop it up and things like that. You know, my brother J Love, like, you know, he's a well-respected DJ in the music industry, and he used to come see me. He's like, yo, bro, it's weird times we're living in, like the social media.
Oh, he was explaining what was happening.
He was breaking it down.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, when you come out, bro, you're gonna see
a little different.
It's bugged out.
Yeah.
Because we come from that era where we really know each other.
Yeah.
So we speak.
Well, go back to this. When you used to be a DJ and nobody knew what the fuck you look like. But he's gonna be spinning tonight. And you could be looking at the guy and not know. Or even rappers back in the day used to battle. Yeah. I'm a battle DMX J. They never seen each other. They had to go to the Bronx and meet because
face to face.
Yeah. We didn't have those big ass clunky video cameras back then. Like, what we doing? Like, You think about that, right? That's how we would walk into situations, not know who was there.
Yeah, and I say that all the time now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we come from the era, like, when you really had to know people. Like, now you could just send a DM and you could just, like, and, you know, and do business. You can send a DM and do a $5 million deal off of a DM, bro.
And never speak to them. And never see them.
It's wild.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, all of these things, you know, it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But these are the times we're living in, man.
What's the wild, if maybe you could talk, if you can't answer, you can't answer it. What's the wildest transaction you've done over a DM? Like that you thought it was bullshit? Like I'll give you mine, right? I had a kid hit me up, yo, Omar, I don't know the kid, just random. I've been denied bullshit ass, you know, I'm not going to go into specifics.
Yeah.
Bullshit ass, I was like, all right, here's my 5 questions. Investment property, loan amount, property type, He hit me back, yo, is this is. I said, based on what you're telling me, here's my offer. He's like, bet. Next day, I sent him, texted my email. He sent me everything. We did the appraisal, closed the deal in 10 days.
Wow.
$40,000. Just like that, on a DM.
Off a DM.
Off a DM, off Instagram.
That's crazy.
Just to give you like an example.
Insight.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I get a lot of requests, you know, where people want to be down with the brand.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it's just like, bro, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Like, what are you bringing to the table?
So they want to be like ambassadors?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But what do you represent? You don't know anything about the person, right? Like, it becomes that thing,
what
right?
are you doing? So, like, you know, I'll go to their page and see what they about, and it's just like a dude just chilling in his crib. Like, what's your lifestyle, bro? Like, what do you, you know, like, we sell culture and lifestyle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who are you?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Right. What do you represent?
Why should I even, you know what I'm saying? But this is what people do. Like, you know, people
They fishing.
Yeah, you know, people say, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I get it. But it's like, bro, you know, or, you know, sometimes they're like, yo, what am I supposed to respond to that? What do you mean?
I love that, man. I love that.
Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, shoot your shot. Get to it.
Yeah.
I'm not answering you back with a yo.
Yeah.
You know, some people,
we're business people now,
Yeah.
right? We've evolved, right? So it becomes this. It becomes, and this is a game for you guys, for the young kids. Anybody younger than 30 to me is a kid. You have to have a value add to a situation, whatever that is. I don't know what yours is, but if you want to be a brand ambassador for, I'll say Juice, if you had a nightclub, that would make sense. If you had if you're breaking, think about the win-win, not your win, the win-win, right?
Exactly.
The double, for it to be a sustainable, synergistic relationship, there has to be a win on both sides. It can't be just give me the bag.
Exactly.
I'm gonna post this $500 or whatever. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that's it. I'll give you 10 posts a month and give me $6,000. And bro, no, it goes deeper than that. So I was having a conversation with somebody else earlier today, and it was like transactional relationship, right? Pick your poison. Which one do you want, right? Do you base your interaction with people on a relationship or a transaction?
I mean, it depends on a situation.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So the way I come into it, because I'm not something you do every day. You need money to buy a house, I can get you the money. If you need to negotiate or sell your house, I can help, but you don't do that every day. So I approach everything as a relationship, because you might not like me. I might not like you. We might not be a good fit. I've had clients that, you know, they're multi-million-dollar clients. I'm like, I'm not the guy. I'm just not the guy. Like, you want to call, you want to like there's some, you know, the more money people have, the crazier it gets, right? They think they curse at you, call you 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, my man, it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. What do you think happened? No. He's like, what's the latest? It's 11 o'clock on a Saturday. What do you think happened? Nothing happened, bro. Nothing happened. Monday. We'll talk Monday. And you gotta, you know, like, I try to do that with humility, and I'm always respectful, right? Because I'm a business person, right? And I say this on purpose because people they get a little crazy, like, oh, fuck that. Like, once you become a professional, the word professional, that should leave your vocabulary. You have to learn how to exchange ideas, whether we agree or disagree. We have to hear each other.
1,000%.
Yeah, because we have to finally come to a solution.
Yep.
Right? And take that game in business and in your personal life. It's not about who screams the loudest. It's about who can, in a calm manner, try to express themselves, and just for the other person to understand, and they could still not agree with you. It's okay. It's okay to not agree with people. That's the big thing, like in hip hop. Yo, fuck that up. I don't get a gun, bro. Bro, what we talking about? We talking about sneakers right now, right? Or we talking about the Knicks. You see these Knicks, like I know you're not big into sports, but yesterday I'm looking on Instagram. You see the Knicks fans, they get crazy, bro. Wow. Like, come on,
it's crazy.
I'm cool with being a fan, but come on, bro. Like now you get a little disrespectful. Spin on people like this is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. That's just
they're taking it to the next level.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, people get hurt that way, man. People get hurt, but this whole social media thing got it fucked up. Yeah. People like.
It's a vehicle. When people do that, I say people just crash. They just jumped in the whip drunk and they just crash. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When I see people doing that, I'm like, yeah, they drunk driving right now. They bugging out. What are you doing?
That's a good term, right?
You know, like, they jumped in the whip and they crashing out.
They drunk Instagram.
And everybody has a voice now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah. Everybody got a voice.
You could be heard. What you gonna be heard for? Right? That becomes the question.
And you gotta have thick skin now because we both have platforms now, so like everybody has a voice, and just people just type shit, and it's like, oh, y'all niggas is this, and I'm just, sometimes
What's the craziest thing you heard on your comments on your?
Oh man, all types of shit, bro.
Cause you in it, like so you got the '90s guy still on your thread.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like, oh, you ain't shit, nigga, blah. You know what I'm saying, and I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? God bless you, brother. You know what?
But
watching though.
They usually do that
energy to type that.
They usually do that you knew, right? Back in the day.
That too.
But not everybody's built to come with you.
Nah.
We know that, right?
Nah.
We know that, right?
And that's why I say what I said. Like sometimes, God needs to park me like he parked me so these dudes could get exposed. Because if I would have never went through what I went through, I would have had a bunch of fake dudes around me for a very long time. And now the social media thing exposes them because they can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying?
They have no self-control.
And it breaks my heart because I'm like, damn, you was my man. I never did nothing to you, bro.
And they still mad at you.
I never did nothing. I understand maybe if I would have slept with your girl, or I did some grimy shit, or I robbed
some
you.
Violation.
Yeah, so
some violation.
Never violated you, bro. And I just see these comments and they hate, and I'm like, damn, you really that mad?
But how do they have so much time?
This is what
I barely have time to interact.
So I'm like, you hate me, you don't like me, cool.
So just unfollow me.
But yeah, you commenting and you watching everything I do, bro. So like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, people don't want to talk. They rather just rant on and, tell lot bullshit lies and things like that. But this is the era that we're living in.
Yo, listen, man. I mean, I like talking to you because you remind me a lot. Like, you remind me a lot of shit I grew up, like the people I grew up around, right? Yeah. And then, so when I went to PS 86, 143, then my mom got with my step pops, and he was a better means, so she was like, yo, get me out the hood. You want to be with me? So he took me to Pelham Bay, and we went to Lehman. I went to Lehman, then I went to NYU, right?
Okay.
When I went to NYU, I was the same class with Vanessa from the Cosby Show. I saw people that I used to see on TV, right? And then you interact with these people, and everybody's kind of like regular. Yeah. So it just gave me a perspective on life. I was like, wait a minute. They just do something that's really cool, and so I started hanging down there more and being exposed to people like from Cali, from England, and I really kind of immersed myself in studying people and understanding. I was like, because I'm from, 196 Jerome, like, we know, 10 toes out on the block, drinking 40s, like that was like the thing.
You made it out though.
Right.
So, like,
well, that was, but I want to explain that because that was the thing, right? Most people, that's the thing. That's where they end, right? They get a job, they're still in the corner. They get the functioning alcoholics, they're still right. So I was always a student. I was always like, even from sitting here with you, I'll study something, I'll get something, and that's how I continue to evolve.
That's
right?
dope.
And that's the way it should be.
It should be.
Yeah,
it's not.
Well, going back to what you're saying,
people don't like.
So let me say what I'm gonna say. So whoever's mad at you because you moved on should stop being mad at themselves, because that's what they're mad at, right?
Exactly.
And just be like, yo, man, Dren, how you doing this? Like, yo, you got any ideas for me? But it would take a moment of humility and actually vulnerability to be like, yo, I'm not that nigga. I'm not the guy that I thought I was, right? Like, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Wherever they are, they're not moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just lashing out at people, trying to get like, for misery loves company, right? They're trying to drag you in, right? But the conversation be like, yo, you doing well, you know? Again, I'm not, I didn't see your W-2. I don't know, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And they should be like, yo, you know, I want to do well too, whether on your level or not, right? Because then that's a whole different thing, right? People get stuck, I want to do what you're doing. I was like, well, no problem. Wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, work, be on call 24 hours a day until you pop. And now when you pop, let me give you some more game. You buy some shit. Now you got to make more money just to maintain your shit. I had a little conversation, episode about, you know, when I bought my Alpina, like I had to buy gap insurance. I didn't know about gap insurance. They're like, yeah, your insurance doesn't cover that amount for a car.
Yep.
So you have to buy more insurance. I was like, oh shit. Okay. Right. Too late now. When at the house, you buy art, right? I'm not saying I'm a billionaire, but you buy art. You have to get higher insurance to cover your art because the house burns down. They're not going to give you the money for the art. This is a lesson I learned from my man, a client of mine, $2 million condo. Was like, yo, Omar, my insurance is too high. I was like, what? I was like, it's $200 a month. Yeah, make it cheaper. Okay, has a flood, right? Has a flood. $500,000 in insurance, bro. Versace, everything for this. From Italy, from this, from that. I'm like, I came to the house like, this shit is crazy. He's like, yeah, flood. Got a $50,000 check for $500,000 worth of furniture. What happened? Yo, Omar, why is my insurance so low? I was like, my man, do you remember this conversation? When we bought the place, I said, yo, this is the insurance. It's too expensive. Find a way to lower it. And I lowered it. And then you went and bought $500,000 worth of furniture. And you never told me, but like, oh, take a look. What do you think? This is what gets you, bro. This is like, no offense. You can't be rich when it's convenient or wealthy when it's convenient. You can't like expensive things when it's convenient and then real cheap on other things. You have to then insure the shit you buy, right? So I kicked that game because, again, people get caught up, right?
It's life, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we don't talk enough about that. We don't talk enough. But like, this is financial literacy right now. We're talking about like this education. I want you guys to know: you buy a house, you have to have insurance, you have a boiler, but you can write off depreciation on your taxes. You can write off all the updates on your house on your taxes. When you sell your house, it's almost like a savings account. You get all that money back. Like, I'm trying to kick game. I'm trying to understand because the money's gonna go. I don't care how much money you got. Unless you multi-billionaire, you're going to find a way to spend it, right? Because if it's there in the account, you'll be like, you know what? I'm going to go on another vacation. Like, you talking at my height, I was going on 3 to 4 vacations a year. And I was like, that's like a $70,000. I was like, what's going on? So finally I had to ratchet back. I was like, nah, man, like, if we're going to buy the next house, we got to do this, we got to do that. And it is what it is, but there's a goal, right? But I'm financially literate. I understand. Other people be like, yo, if I'm not balling out, or back in the day, it used to be if we're at the club every weekend, buying bottles.
Yeah, see, that was
go back to that.
That was my thing because when I did my time again, like you know, when I went away, I went to college.
Okay.
In there, you know what I'm saying? And again, you know, I turned my negative into a positive. I educated myself. Went to college. I was in the law library every day. Educating myself.
Just learning.
You know what I'm saying? Learning mad shit. You know what I'm saying? I got time to do. So.
Yeah. You have nothing else to do. Yeah, no offense.
But there's dudes that go in there and just get high and fight and go to the box. And that wasn't me, bro. I educated myself. I'm like, I'm going to come out here savage.
Right.
I'm going to come out here beast. And, you know, it's like you said, it's important that you do that, but you have to choose that, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I chose. So like, you know, like when people are like, yo, when you bitter, you was fighting, nah, I wasn't doing none of that, bro. I was chilling. I was out the way.
There's no time for that. Yeah.
Nah, I'm out the way. I'm educating myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming back strong. I'm coming back better. And, you know, now, you know, I could reap the benefits of my decision because they're like, yo, but how did you, like people still don't get it because like you said earlier, people are still on the block.
Yeah, yeah. What about when you were doing the study in the law library? Were guys coming up to you like, yo, my case? Because everybody...
Yeah, no, it was... I was beating cases like again, people were getting high, you know...
You became a jail lawyer?
Yeah, that's what they call it, a jailhouse lawyer.
Okay.
I was one of those.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had my own typewriter in my cell.
Okay.
Like, I was getting busy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like dudes going to the box. I would fight their tickets, you know, on the merits.
What's a ticket? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
So if you... When you're doing time and you know you get high, you get a dirty urine, like they do
random
for
urine.
Yeah, they do random drug tests.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying. So when you get a dirty urine, they're like, oh, you got high.
Yeah,
Automatically, you go to the box.
Okay.
So you go to the box.
So they don't care about that, where you got the drugs from.
No.
They just know you got them.
They know you got them
Okay.
because urine is dirty.
Right. So now you're going to
How
the box.
you got a dirty urine in prison, bro? You're
Right.
getting high.
Right.
So, you get one of those, you go to the box anywhere from, depending on how many times you got caught, anywhere from 3 months to a year in solitary confinement.
By yourself. 24 hours.
20, you get you
1 hour outside in the yard.
That's it.
By yourself, though.
By yourself.
Wow.
So, in order to get yourself in that position, they write you a ticket. It's like a parking ticket.
Okay.
They write it up. We tested the urine.
So you hang out in your jail cell, they give you a ticket.
Yeah.
To go to the box.
You go to the box. So the dudes used to, when you get the ticket, you have to go to a hearing first.
Okay. I don't know any of this. That's why I'm walking you through it. Okay.
It's like a court process.
Okay.
You go to a hearing.
Okay.
So
you got a citation. You got to go to the judge.
You go to the judge.
Okay.
They're like, all right.
All this in prison.
All of this in prison.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm learning. I'm learning. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But when you get a dirty urine, like I'm giving you an example, like there's a chain of custody on like when they take your urine, what time they took it, when they took it, how did they store it?
Oh, like evidence shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, now we CSI today. We CSI.
Yeah.
That's what we have right now.
Evidence.
Okay.
So there's a certain protocol that has to be done every step of the way.
Right. I have to document everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
if one of those things is off, one of them, that whole ticket
Invalidated.
is thrown out.
Okay.
You beat the charge, you don't go to the box.
Okay.
So dudes just be like, yo, bro, I got a quarter dirty, my nigga. I know you nice with your boom, boom. Check this out. And I will always find something.
Okay.
Because it's not like the tickets here where everything is digital, where they scan it, bleep.
Right.
Everything
Before,
is handwritten.
like now, like back in the day.
Everything is handwritten. So like these officers, they don't care.
Right.
And it's messed up, but a lot of dudes in prison is illiterate. They're all illiterate.
Right.
They don't know how to read. They don't know how to write.
So they just going blindly.
So
Yeah,
they don't care.
Right.
Bro, they're getting high in jail. So that shows you
where they're
where
at.
they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is how I used to make my time useful and
Right.
but all of these things. But I would just educating myself more and more and more and more. I saved a lot of dudes from going to the box, but that's what they chose to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I was nice with TOs found out what I was doing. They used to take my typewriter away from me. Like, oh no, this dude like.
For real?
Yeah.
And what, hide it, or could they legally take it from
Yeah,
you?
confiscate it because
Was that illegal to have?
it wasn't illegal to have, but it's illegal to represent someone else in prison.
Oh, so you can write your own. You gonna write your own shit.
You have to.
But you can't have a lawyer.
Yourself.
Yeah. I get it. Okay.
I'm saying you can't come to be like, yo, Dren, do me a favor. Yo, bro, look.
Divide and conquer, basically, right? They want to make sure you all separate.
That's it. So
Okay.
you can't be working on nobody else's
Wow.
legal work. You can't.
Wow.
You can't give advice. You can't do none of that. It's every man for self.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? So unless you worked in the law library, when you worked in the law library, then that's your job. So
Okay.
of course you have to give information to other inmates.
So did somebody tell you to go,
I
go
didn't
work
work
there?
it. No. They wanted me to work in there, but I wasn't trying to have 80 dudes come up to me every day.
Right. That's a full time
That's just
thing.
draining.
Yeah.
It's draining. And then when something goes wrong, they want to
I was gonna say that. What if it goes left?
Yeah, something goes wrong, they want to blame you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. So
Yo, hold on. Just for context, this is in prison, so you deal with some real ones, right? Like, cause it goes left, you gotta protect yourself. You're like, yo, it could go bad.
it's go time. You know what I'm saying? Because like you in prison and then you getting locked up in prison again, like it's just.
In the worst prison.
Yeah, come on, bro. We already locked up, bro. Like, why you want to make it worse for yourself? Just chill out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Leave it. Drugs got you in here. You still want to get high in jail? But come on, bro. Like, grow up, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And they won't hear you. So what do you think about this? I think that, and please chime in if you think I'm incorrect with this. I believe, especially young men, right? You got to get their attention. And your attention usually get 50's song, right? I let my watch talk for me, my car talk. So I drive a certain car. I wear certain clothes because I like them. But they also validate you quickly. You walk in, people are like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Why do you feel that, especially the younger generation, unless you have a certain amount of success, they won't hear you? They won't hear their cousin or their uncle who's standing right next to them say, yo, don't do the puppy.
Yep.
But some rando, right? Because he drives a Maybach, he comes up, yo, don't do that. Oh, yo, this guy told me.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
That's a great question. Because again, we never listened to our parents. Like we did what we wanted to do. That's a reason why I do speak to the kids. I go to the programs because they don't listen to their parents and their uncles and their cousins. they see, you know, like right now I don't have no jewelry on, you know what I'm saying? But like when I wear my shit and they see me and then they go to my Instagram, they're like, oh, he's
popping.
He's up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to him.
Right.
I wanna be like,
he must know something. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm like, bro, but I'm gonna share I don't know what I went through though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I made the mistake so you don't have to make it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why they listen to us more, because they could relate to us. So when you got your uncle, your Theo, or whatever, nigga, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you grew up with them forever. Well, but when you meet somebody new, and then you see,
and you have a perception of them, right?
Perception, because that's all it is.
Right. It's exactly.
Because they go off of this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't post everything. I'm posting what I want you to see.
Right.
You know, like people say, you don't post your failures. Mm-hmm. You know, I post them sometimes to just so people can understand my story. Bro, this didn't come easy. Mm-hmm. I went through the struggle and came back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that when, you know, you have people like myself that have a valid story, they are going to listen, because we came from the trap.
Yeah.
I wasn't born in Beverly Hills, bro, with a silver spoon in my mouth. Mm-hmm. I came from the project like everybody else, but I made it. You know what I'm saying? Some dudes don't make it. So like, of course they're not going to listen to you, because you side by side with them.
Right.
So they're going to listen to somebody that got a story to tell that's valid, that they can see it.
Right.
You know, so if they can't see it,
they can't believe it.
Why? Yeah. Why
they can't see it? They can't believe it.
Why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
What you did? Like,
well, to not to go contra, but it was tough. Like, my mother didn't even speak English, right? So it was hard to, like, she came from Puerto Rico, you know, immigrant mentality. I know we're American, but you know, if you don't know English, bro, she's like, read this for me. And I'm at 10, 11 years old, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm everything. I'm reading, I'm like, I think this means that, you know, at 10,
yeah.
I'm going to the doctor with her to tell me what he's saying. And, you know, like, it was wild, bro. So it's tough, but now, full circle, I have 3 young men, right? 30, 25, and 20. I talk about them all the time. And sometimes, like, I'm like, yo, why are you not listening to me? I was like, I'm trying
to listen to me before you, bro. It's crazy.
I'm trying to kick game to you. I'm really trying to, like, I was talking to one of my youngest. I always talk to him. I'm like, yo, of all people, I got like no bad intentions. I just want to help you.
Yes.
Please listen to me. Please listen to me. Like, but going back to La Contra, right? His friends, yo, Isaiah, my son's name, Isaiah. Yo, Isaiah, can I talk to your pops? Guys that work with him, like, he'd be like, yo, hit him up. He's like, yo, but let him know you know me. And they ask me, yo, what book should I read? That's dope. How do you get into real estate?
That's dope.
Yo, what does it take to be a loan officer? I'm like, bro, how come you got no questions, bro? And my son, like,
yeah.
They got a million questions.
Yeah.
Oh, but Dad, you know, if I need you
for granted, bro. Yeah. Like, you know, I like my son, you know what I'm saying? The younger one that's 21. You know, he's my photographer, you know what I'm saying? And he just he don't care.
About what?
Just about anything. And his friends.
That's hard.
And his, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you crazy? Like your dad, like all the things he does, the people he's around, like, I'll do it if you don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every time he meets people, they're like, you know, they're like, yo, bro, you don't know how lucky and blessed you are, but he don't get it.
Because he doesn't know anything else. It's very easy for me to say it to you, and I would have to hear it from you to me. Because you're in it, right? We're in it. I'm like, yo, my man, what we doing here? Like, yo, what's happening? And then I'm like, but it's easy for me to see your story and tell you, yo, because he's never seen anything else. Going back to my story, I'm like, I tell my kids my stories when I came. My oldest remembers. He remembers a little bit of the struggle because I was like 19, 20. So he's like, he remembered, oh, Dad, we used to live here. I was like, yeah, we used to live here.
How old were you when you had your first son?
19.
Same age.
19.
It's crazy.
19. So
a lot of young. Yeah.
I was in my third year of college. I still finished. I did everything I had to do. My father died at 18. I had a son at 19. My grandfather died at 20. I mean, every year in college was a reason to stop.
Yeah.
And I used it to keep going. I was like, nah, I got to finish for them. I got to finish. Whatever. Even if you get a little depressed, you get sad for a second, but like, let me finish. It just kind of kept me going, right? A day after my father died, he died on a Saturday. I went to work Sunday. Like that, I remember that. Like, cause
you got to keep pushing.
I didn't know what else to do. Yeah. Like, how do you process that? You 18 years old.
You already emotion.
You
already got,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that was, I haven't spoken that in a long time. But, so Roc Nation, the hats, planes, Emory Jones.
Yep.
You work with him?
I don't work with him, but I'm around him.
All right. He He has a dope story too. Like, you know his
does.
story, right? Yeah. Shout out to Emery. I became a student back, I think I told you off camera why, during that time when I was doing work. And yeah, his story was pretty powerful. Like,
No, it is. You know what's crazy? I spoke to him yesterday,
okay.
and I had hit him up. I said, "Yo, we got to tell your story, brother."
Absolutely.
And then he was like, "I'm not doing it now." He goes, "I'm rebranding myself.
Okay.
After I finish rebranding myself, we'll sit down and we'll chop it up." I'm like, because again, we know his story.
Yeah.
But the world.
But that might not be the story he wants people to know him for now.
Yeah.
Because obviously.
Well, that's why he said he's rebranding himself.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
sometimes you don't want to just.
You don't want to live there.
Yeah, you want to leave.
Right. But I remember reading his story and I was like, wow, man. And even the way he talked about it, he was like, nobody owes you. Because I used that to kind of parlay into the conversation with you because, you know, while you were away, you didn't have that, yo, help me out attitude. You were just like, yo, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Him, he did a bit and, you know, his boys were up. Like, you want to talk about the internet?
Yeah.
He came out and shit changed, right? Shit changed. And you gotta really, I respect humility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was never like, yo, he's like, yo, whatever we could do, we could do. If not.
Bro, he's humble. He'll have a conversation with you. He'll chop it up with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, people like him of that caliber don't do that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, he's with the shits. Like, he'll really chop it up with you and you know, and just, you know, have a conversation and have a whole dialogue. You know what I'm saying?
And I think us coming from where we come from, we can appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? The same way I can also appreciate you telling me people you came up with being mad because you look like you're up and they're not up. And instead of saying, hey, man, how can I get up? They want to just be shitting on your shit.
Yeah. And I'm a person, like, I like to help people, bro. Like,
you helping me right now, man? I'm gonna go over you.
I connect the dots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you hit me up. It was no back and forth. It was no, yo, what's up? Let's do it.
I call that
Straight to it.
my man. I'm a member of this group, and it's a man of action, right? So you can get more done with MOAs, men of action,
Yes.
than with
100%.
85 people that are CEOs and this. Oh, talk to this guy, bro. No. So people hit me up. They're like, oh, you have a bot that answers you. I was like, what bot, bro? I was like, sometimes I don't answer because I'm busy, I'm working, but it has to be me. It has to be me for it to be authentic and real.
Exactly.
It has to be. And same thing for you, right? You were like, yo, what day? What do you think? And then I was, and you know what happens as you meet people, right? I met him off Instagram. We're here in real IRL in real life. That's in the term.
Yeah.
In real life. And I'm like, I saw last night you were everywhere. I was like, oh, he might call out sick on me.
No, I don't. Like, you know, I'm big on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect people's time. You know what I'm saying? This opportunity is dope. Like, you know, I appreciate it, brother. Like, I'm not too good for anybody. You know
I
what I'm
appreciate
saying? Like
that.
I said, you reached out. I didn't give you to run around. Like, all right, what's up? Well, where's it at? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sit down.
I should have opened up with my audio's on point. My audio's on point.
It is on
Check out my,
Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
That's the first thing I did. Like, bro, I do that all the time. It's like clockwork. I get hit up. I look at it. I see the post. I'm like, all right, he's about his business.
It's legit.
And I respect it.
Yeah, I appreciate
I respect it, brother. You know what I'm saying? I see the hustle. I see the grind. And you don't got to do this because you up too. You got your, you know, your real estate, your bank.
This to me, and you can tell me if you feel I'm wrong. To me, this is the new on the corner.
Yes.
This is to me, right?
Yeah.
But we document it because we could kick game to the younger generation.
And people want to hear this, bro. Like I said, I don't watch TV anymore. I watch YouTube. So when
watch stories.
things pop up on my feed that interest me, like now you could pick what you want to watch.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
crazy.
saying?
That's crazy.
It's dope.
Yeah.
We just filter the bullshit out.
Filter what you want, see what you
You know what I'm
want.
saying? You don't like it, you just change it. You know, you jump somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's a gift and a curse too, because everything is just so fast fed.
Yeah.
People's attention spans are not like they used to be.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody else last week, and he was like, yo, what I'm doing is hard because what I do for Latinos is not a big deal, like self-development, right? And if we really dig deep, you got to think of it as you have to develop yourself to be the version of, it's like at 25, I couldn't have certain conversations like I have now, right? Because I wasn't hearing it. I was too young. I was too much testosterone. Fuck you. I had ego. Like I had a lot of these prisons they're prisons, guys, that I had to kind of work through. And you only work through them through trying to build yourself and developing, maturing, right? The worst thing to do is to see yourself 10 years ago and be like, I'm the same.
Yeah.
That ain't the game. The game is to get better and get better and get better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super important. Like this to me, and this is another part you might think of, right? Like, do you have grandkids yet?
No.
Me either. So I have one picture of my grandfather, me and my grandfather together. One. I knew him. You know, we grew up. I was like, he died when I was like 19. Or no, 20. And I can't tell you, like, I would hear stories, right? And my grandfather was like an alpha male. Like, he was the guy in Puerto Rico who had the gun. The mayor of the block, you know, all that. He had the bodega guy. He was a mover.
That dude.
He was a mover. So I was like, I think I get a lot of my stuff from him, but I can't tell you I've seen anything. So this to me is also a legacy play where my grandkids and my great grandkids be like, yo, that's grandpa. That's how he used to move. That's why we're here. That's why we live here. Or this is why he left this stuff for us, and we get to move a little different. Like we're not starting down here. We're starting here.
Yeah.
And their job should be to take it there, right?
Listen, you breaking it. You know, it's not the curse, but you breaking it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, there's that saying Ed Milet says. I don't know. Do you follow Ed Milet?
No.
He's a development guy. He's like, are you the one? Right. So I'm the one. Like when I was moving out, when my wife was pregnant, my mom had just got divorced. So that happened. I'm like, your mom want to buy something. She what? Buy? You know, how does that work? So she goes, what's up with me? So I was like, let's buy 2-family. She's like, all right, that's it. The rest was on me, right? So I found it, negotiated the price, got the loan, boom, we're in there. I got the liquor store and the nightclub going. Then I get recruited into the business because that's what I did. When I used the bank to buy it, that's when I got my man's radar because I hadn't seen him in like 5 years. And I was like, yo, Omar, oh shit. The president of the bank wants to talk to you. And that's kind of like, think about that, right? I made a move to better my family.
And then he put you on the game.
Right, no, and then he was like, yo, who's that moving? Oh, I could use this dude. Let me get him. Right? Let me get him. Let me bring him in the team. And then instead of being angry, be like, oh, this white guy using it. No. All right, I'm gonna learn this. All right, you're gonna make yours. I'll make a little bit too.
Become a fucking beast.
But becomes this, right? I wasn't pocket watching him. He's a multimillionaire. I barely had shit to put together in my life, right? I had 50,000, bought the house, whatever. But instead of thinking of, yo, I'm not gonna work for you, like, I'm like, all right, what can I learn? Right? And I say this on purpose to you because I want people to listen, and when they come into situations, it shouldn't be like, oh, Dren's up. He should give me $100,000. Nah, bro. Yo, how can you help Dren? Right? And if you can add value to a situation, it'll become synergistic, and then you both grow. But that should be the conversation.
It should be.
I say that because our people are notorious for that, bro.
It should.
Joe, just give me $100,000.
It drives me crazy because like a lot of my texts and emails, you know, all the shit I'm doing with Deuce and Roc, it's like everybody always wants something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you have to offer though? Like, it's a gimme.
Mm-hmm. And then the gimmies, and I'm speaking from experience right now, the gimmies get bigger. It's not like $100. It's like, yo, I need 5,000. You're like, what? It becomes that.
I get decks, you know, 300. The first number I see is 350,000. I'm like, let me read this shit. Like the nerve of you.
Yeah.
Like we don't even know. Let's know each other first.
Right. Oh, so these are people you don't even know.
No. Yo, this is my proposal. You know, tier 1 is 350,000. You know, tier 2 75,000. You know, tier 3 20,000.
And you're like,
which one do you want?
What is this?
Who said I wanted anything, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like but this is where we.
The one thing I learned, and I'm sure you know this already, but I want to say it on camera, is that you have to be selectively available.
Yeah.
Right? If you're available all the time, you become taken for granted.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, oh, he's going to be there. And then like, yo, like I have other shit I got to do. Right? And if I'm not right, if I'm not generating for the family and doing what I got to do to make sure you're in college and this is it and this is that and that, then I'm not right with myself. I'm not my best self.
Exactly.
So it becomes that, right? It becomes that, like, yo, like.
You can't spread yourself thin, man.
Mm-hmm. He said it well. Wow. All right, man. We can keep going, but it'll be part 1. All right. Well, we're gonna re-up in a couple of months, see where we both at. If you want people to contact you, please look in the camera. Tell them where to get you.
Dren Starr, Instagram, DrenStarr. Hit me up. My DM is the best way to get at me, and I answer everybody back, man. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely answers everybody back. He answered me back, and asked Will Omar on all platforms, man, and hope you got value from this episode.
Word.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming.